Welcome to the From Whistle to Whistle podcast on the Dynasty DNA podcasting network, where we debate the hottest NFL and Dynasty fantasy football topics every week. So sit back, pick a side, and enjoy the show. And here is your From Whistle to Whistle host and moderator, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand crew, to the newest episode of From Whistle to Whistle here on the Dynasty DNA podcasting network. I'm your host, TJ Blake. You can follow me over on X at FFTJBlakeDNA. And returning this week to the maiden voyage back into the blue corner, it's Ty Blake, my co-founder of the Dynasty DNA network. You can follow him over on X at Dynasty DNA Ty. Ty, let me just say this, right? You laugh at the intro. You're laughing whenever I give the intro yet again. What do you have against the intro?
I don't know. I just don't like it. I've always said that. I think it could be better.
You think it could be better? Well, let me just say this. I changed it for you on Dynasty After Dark.
Yeah, and it sounds a lot better.
Oh, okay. Well, guess what, right? You don't make the rules. The fans make the rules. We'll see how it goes. But are you ready? You think you're going to be able to put on a good performance after that strep throat episode?
Well, yeah, after the trip from hell, I'm going to give her my best shot. What a disaster.
Ty is back at the saddle,
Of course,
you know.
I'm not surprised. It's out towards Cleveland, Ohio. You can pick up diseases anywhere. So.
Oh, Ty, you got to be nicer to the Browns fans.
I've already told you before, I don't like the Browns.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, they really smashed that episode way back for Tessier and Mike, so I'm not going to pick on them as bad as you do. But Ty is back on the men's, and everyone loves it, I'm sure. But we're going over to the red corner next. The baddest man on the fantasy football planet, the Colston Loveland flag planter, Mike Shanoudi. You can follow him over on X at Shanu471. Mike, I think that regardless of what Big Culture Bob says, you're going to be making many more trips to Loveland.
Look, I love Bob. He's my guy, always and forever. But if you're not going to support me in my love for Loveland, look, he said my wife needs to know the love that I have for Loveland. She knows the pecking order. She gets it. She wouldn't have married me if she didn't know that my real heart is in Chicago. It's Loveland, baby. And I'm going there more times than I like to admit. So let's go, baby. The Shanoudis will be in Chicago for Loveland. Sorry, Tessier. Get that taste out of your mouth, young man.
Another trip to Loveland for Mike. But last but not least, you know, I could call him the Lions Nostradamus because it's eerily spooky what he said could be coming true. Looks like it may be coming true on the Minnesota-Wisconsin line. It is in the yellow corner, Justin Tessier, better known as Tessier. You can follow him over there on X at Tessier91. Tessier, more dominoes falling there for the Lions. Big props to you. You called a lot of this. It's looking like it could get a little ugly, especially on defense.
Yeah, I just got to be checking the area with substations everywhere, right? You got them just popping up and people falling off the train camps. It's just wild how this offseason is slowly winding down closer to the season, how many dominoes are falling.
For sure. And, you know, it could be data centers, too. We might have to look into that, right? Data centers and substations. Who knows? There's a lot of electronic parts going around. But speaking of substations, we got to start with this question right here because today we're going to be talking about a lot of training camp buzz, right? A lot of training camp questions. We're only a couple days away, guys, from the return of NFL football. We can't wait for it. But, Ty, we're going to start here, right now, and it's going to be the San Francisco sorrow. After a horrendous amount of injuries being reported after the start of San Francisco 49er training camp here, Ty, starting with Ricky Pearsall with the season-ending news, and now with the Mike Evans update about his hamstring that we got today that may keep him out entire preseason. That's what we're hearing potentially. How concerned are you for this team, and do you think that this could seriously hurt your Brock Purdy shares, at least in the short term, with what's going on with this 49ers team, Ty? What's your thoughts on the injury-plagued, especially wide receiver room right now of the 49ers?
I'm not surprised. Seems to happen every year to them. I don't know what the hell is going on out there. There's always something going on with them receivers every single year. So I'm not really surprised. It sounds like Mike Evans will be okay for the start of the season. The guy really don't need preseason. He's a seasoned vet. He's been doing it for a long time. He'll be fine. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall going out for the year, that was kind of a shocker. Kind of come out of left field. Like we talked, why'd he not have that surgery earlier than what it is now? I mean, the guy needs to get on the field and play. I mean, he hasn't shown anything. So yeah, I'm definitely concerned. Yeah, and it's going to hurt Brock Purdy. I mean, because really all they have now is Mike Evans. I mean, they're going to have to go out and get someone to help them out. I mean, the wide receiver core is pretty bare there. Purdy's going to need somebody. I mean, he has CMC out of the backfield. That will help. But they got to really start helping this guy and getting him some receiver help. I mean, I'm not the biggest Brock Purdy guy, but I don't think he's a scrub by any means, and they just need to help the guy out a little more. They just never have the personnel out there to seem to get the job done.
Right, and it's kind of strange, right? And look, I'm a Mike Evans fan as well as you are, but like that's your big move, right? Like, you're banking a lot on a guy that's that old,
right,
to come in and take care of injury problems. And you look at it, I mean, this is a hamstring for Mike Evans too. That can linger, So I'm glad that they're shutting it down for now. But boy, I'm just worried that this could potentially drag on into the season.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with guys like Keenan Allen and shit too. So I mean, with guys that age, you don't want to see hamstring injuries because they do seem to linger. But hopefully, Mike Evans can get over it. He is my stud. So
yeah, we know. And DeJon Stribling, right, the rookie, he's banged up too. I mean, they brought him in. There was kind of like a little hope that maybe he could bring something. And, like, I'm sure it's more of just a ding up with him, but still, it's another injury to this wide receiver room.
I guess they did bring in Debo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Debo, Back to the Future.
Yeah,
that's right. No doubt about it.
Could be one to watch.
I'd say they knew a little bit more than we all did when they brought Debo back with the injuries that they had going on. But, all right, Ty, a lot of good points. And, Mike, I'm going to ask you this question. The San Francisco 49ers team, right, this injury-plagued wide receiver core, Mike Evans looking like not going to be ready to the start of the season, but they're hoping he'll be there for week 1. They're saying he probably will, but it is a hamstring, as I mentioned. We know George Kittle already on the pup. What's your concerns with this wide receiver room for this offense, and is this really going to hurt Brock Purdy this year, not having some of these guys, a big bulk of them available? Look, I think he's more of a guy that's someone that needs all this around him. He isn't someone that's going to be able to build off all this alone. He needs that help, right? A lot of players do, but I think he's one in particular that really does, Mike. How do you feel about Purdy and this team and this wide receiver core in general right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very concerned. Just to see this happening already, it's kind of like, ooh, like what is going on in San Francisco? You could say the substation. You can say all these different things. It's not just on offense. It's also on defense. Like, they're losing people left and right. Ricky Pearsall can't stay healthy to save his life. And then you have the Ayuk saga. He leaves. And now you bring in Mike Evans, who we all love. And this is not against him. But like Ty said, you bring in a guy like that to revive the room with another guy like Debo. And then, like, Kittle comes off the pup. He's injury prone. And then we're all concerned about CMC and his touches and saying, like, hey, can he handle another 300-plus touch season? He's in year 10. And it's just like we've seen it before, right? When all these guys are not on the field, Purdy becomes lackluster. It doesn't matter what Kyle Shanahan schemes up. It just doesn't seem like the Purdy that we all invest in to be our QB2 with the QB1 upside kind of situation. And we're like, oh, we love the 49ers. We love all these things. But if there's nobody to throw the ball to, even the rookie, who everybody's like loving now out of nowhere, it's like, if he's not on the field, who's left? Like, Juwan Jennings is not coming through that building anymore. Ayuk is not going to drive 150 miles per hour by the stadium. Like, there's nothing there for them. Like, and I'm just only concerned because this is a Super Bowl caliber team with all things are healthy. And I just feel like, I'm not saying I'm selling Brock Purdy shares. I'm just very cautious going into the season of when is this all going to stop with the 49ers? And is Mike Evans coming off of his own injuries, and now that he has this hamstring injuries, is it the beginning of the end? And I don't like saying that, but it's a lot of writing on the wall for these Niners.
Absolutely. But, Mike, you said one thing there about Brock Purdy that I absolutely have to agree with. Like, I like when you said, look, I'm not necessarily selling, but, someone that you can't really go out and look to buy right now, right? Like, he is that kind of player of, like, you strike when the time's right, and it could be a really good, reward for you when you do it at the right time, right? But when you do it at the wrong time, it could really, really blow up. And right now is just the wrong time. He has to have that structure. He's a lot more Clark Kentish than he is Superman. But, he is a damn good Clark Kent. Let's be honest. He fits that Shanahan system well. He just needs that help. But Tessier, okay, finishing up with you. I know you're a big believer in the substation. And here we go again, right? The San Francisco 49er wide receiver room back on the men's again. We're having issues staying healthy. We mentioned Stribling a little banged up. The rookie Evans with his hamstring. We know Pierce, all the news, being out for season. Debo is back, but really, what kind of Debo are we going to get? It's very interesting. What's your feelings on the room in general, this team from a fantasy standpoint right now, and Brock Purdy? Where are you at when it comes to them assets with the 49ers?
I told you so on Ricky Pearsall, everybody. This guy's a bust, and he's physically busted, and I hope now everybody can finally put this hype to bed and put him on waivers. He's done. He's cooked. It's over. I'm sorry. The guy can't stay healthy. He's a West Coast Jalen Waddle. He's got name value alone. He's got all the hype in the world, but he can't put it all together. So as far as these wide receiver core, I'm not investing in any single one of them if I don't already have them. I'm not going out to try to scrap off waivers, Deebo Samuel. I'm not trying to pull off Mike Evans off of somebody for the cheap, and I'm not trying to draft Deshaun Stribling in the later rounds and trying to fit him into my lineups. I think where I'm attacking this team for the fantasy perspective is I'm going all in on these tight ends. I'm going after Jake Tungus, and I'm going after George Kittle, because if there's going to be two guys on this team at the end of the day that's going to turn Clark Kent, Brock Purdy into Superman for this 49ers team, it's going to be Kittle or it's going to be Tungus. I think now that the 49ers are going to have to play Christian McCaffrey in some form in the passing game. He's going to have to do some sort of receiving game duty, which will, for CMC owners, might make him fresher longer in the season, keep the workload off of him in the running game, but be a PPR machine. And as for Brock Purdy, if I have builds where I got like Jared Goff and Geno Smith or one of these older quarterbacks with like an aging out veteran, I am swooping in and getting them at lower prices for my quarterback 3, or fitting into my quarterback 2 spot and bumping one of those guys down to quarterback 3. Because short term, yes, this is scary, oogie boogie. You don't like to see what's going on in the receiving room. But I trust the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. If there's one team that's been able to overcome injury over time, it's been the 49ers. They've always stayed competitive. They've always stayed in the hunt. And they've always put up fantasy performances for us and making guys fit in and fit the role. For the receiving core, it's going to be a little bit tougher. They're going to have to patchwork it together. But I reiterate, those tight ends, you got to go get them right now if you can. You got to go get them because they're going to be super important, super relevant in the receiving game. That's going to keep Brock Purdy into those quarterback 2 numbers. This might hurt his case for being a quarterback 1 for us for Dynasty this year that we know he could be capable of, but tempers expectations. But if there's any sort of doubt with Purdy on a manager and a roster, I say go after and get him and add him to that 3 quarterback room that I like to tell you about for contending rosters in Dynasty.
For sure, right? And if you have Brock Purdy as a quarterback 2 right now, I wouldn't blame anybody else either going out trying to get insurance at quarterback 3, right? You just got to be ahead on this. And look, it could be bad. It could be bad for a little bit of a stretch. We've seen that with Purdy at times, but it always comes back to where he's always solid and consistent. But like I said, maybe if it's down a little bit, you can buy and take advantage of prices. And then, you got a decent guy there in the quarterback room, adding Brock Purdy. But he's just that guy that's got to have that talent around him to really bring out the best in him. He needs that more than a lot of quarterbacks, right? Jared Goff, very similar, right? You get the best talent around him, you can bring the best out of him. But, all right, I'm really hoping that we see the 49ers get on the men's because this is starting to turn into a nightmare for a lot of fantasy assets on these teams. No doubt about it. But let's go over to the next question here. We're going over to the red corner with our friend Mike. And we're not going to the Loveland. We're going to the red corner, right? So here we go. We got RB ADP Pick Me, Mike. So, alrighty, guys, with many startup drafts soon on the horizon, we know they're coming. I'm going to give you some backfields from different teams across the league. So, one for one, comparatively, I want to know, in your opinion, which player is the better bang for your value at ADP? If you were picking either player at running back for your team, and tell me why you feel the way you do and why you would draft the way you would draft comparatively to these players. Okay, Mike, starting it off with you. We have Jadarian Price of the Seattle Seahawks with an ADP of 81.5, and we have a Zach Charbonnet of the Seattle Seahawks with the ADP of 114.4. If you were looking at this Seattle backfield, Mike, who do you think is the better value for your buck at the ADP level?
For me, I think I'm going to go with Price. And the only reason why I would go with Price is because how I always say the free agency, right? It's follow the money. But for me, it's also following draft capital. There's a reason why they looked at their backfield, and whether Charbonnet being hurt made them push him to get Price in the first round. I believe Price had that first round grade after, obviously, Jeremiah Love. And they both played in the same backfield in Notre Dame. I felt like Price had that ability to be that second best running back in the class and take over a backfield. I feel like with Charbonnet being hurt, this gives him a chance to prove that point, to take over and to be able to be that number one guy in a great running scheme. Whether Clint Kubiak is there or not, they're going to try to run the ball. I feel like they know the book on JSN. They know the book on Darnold. They really don't know anything about this kid as much as we do, right? Defenses are going to have to adjust. Charbonnet, to his credit, is a great running back when healthy, and that's the problem. It's like the when is healthy situation with Charbonnet. When he was with Kenneth Walker, he was on the field, and they still had a split backfield. One of the things that I believe in Price is I feel like he's going to do enough to set himself apart from Charbonnet, where Charbonnet is going to be like a spell guy, where there's going to be times here and there he's going to be at the goal line or third down, short yardage situation. I just feel like Charbonnet has had trouble staying healthy, and I just don't want to take that risk with an older guy, quote unquote, than when I see a first round running back taking on a good team who could run the ball down their throats. And I really believe in this guy's talent, his speed, his agility, his way of blocking, catching the football. I think Price is going to be a very good value in these startup drafts because nobody really sees him as such after Love.
Right. A lot of good points as far as laying out why you would go Price, Mike. So I give you credit for that. All right, Tessier, coming over here to you. RBADP for me. We're going to start here with the Seattle question. Back to you, Tessier. Jadarian Price at the ADP of 81.5 or Zach Charbonnet at the ADP of 114.4. What's your thoughts here when you're looking at the Seattle backfield as far as best value at ADP?
What I'm looking at is where I'm going to have these guys on my team, and I think most likely my rosters that I build, these are going to be our running back 3s or 4s on my team, and I'm going to take the cheaper guy in Zach Charbonnet, who's been there, seen it, and done that. For my builds, if you guys know me by any means, I don't put my faith in any rookies and a guy that hasn't taken one NFL snap yet and putting on my contending rosters. I just don't contend to that sort of strategy or that narrative, and I'm not going to spend up to get Jadarian Price when I can just get Zach Charbonnet, who's probably going to be, if his rehab goes as well as it's going in August, could be close to be ready at some point in the first month of the NFL season, who's going to be most likely the 60-40 ball carrier there in that Seattle offense. And quite frankly, yes, I'm taking Charbonnet here in this question, but I'm not investing in either one of these guys on my rosters in Dynasty for 2026. I think this is a stay away situation. The fact that Kubiak is out of the picture, it's going to be a whole new offensive scheme. We don't know what way they're going to deploy these running backs. We don't know who's going to get the majority of carries and who's going to be the guy that they lean on and the healthiest. It's a mixed bag. And at that point, I would just take the guy farther down at a cheaper price. And then later on, either in 2027 or what have you, spend more to get Jadarian Price via trade later on than revolving my draft strategy around a rookie running back.
All right, so Tessier, saying really not a big fan of the backfield in general, right? But he would go with Zach Charbonnet if he had to go one direction. Ty, we'll close this one out with you. We're talking running back ADPs here. The Seattle backfield, Jadarian Price sitting at an ADP of 81.5, or Zach Charbonnet at the ADP of 114.4. What's your consensus thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll probably lean Charbonnet. I mean, you're getting him 3 rounds later, kind of right around that range. I personally, I think he's going to be the better back. I mean, we haven't seen Price take an NFL snap yet, but based on what I've seen, I wasn't super impressed by any means. I feel like the Seahawks just took him because he was the best available at the position, and they lost Kenneth Walker, so they wanted some insurance. Personally, I think Charbonnet is the better back. It's kind of a bummer he blew his knee out because we were all kind of waiting, if you had him, for Kenneth Walker to leave because he was going to be kind of the next man up because he is a good back. I mean, he scores a lot of touchdowns. Not super flashy, but he puts up pretty good points when he gets the opportunities. If you do have Charbonnet, just kind of banking on Price coming out, running a little slow for him, and once he comes back, Charbonnet can retake that spot and be the guy going forward. But I'm not super interested in this backfield either. But I think that's kind of why I got to lead Charbonnet too, just because Price hasn't really popped off the page for me.
Right. I mean, the value is pretty high on Jadarian Price, but like Mike said, right, it's risk-reward factor. And I will say that, right, in his defense and his argument, I would probably lean Charbonnet too, but Mike made a lot of good points, and especially the point of, if you are Jadarian Price owners out there, this is going to be really big these first few games, right?
It's big.
It's very big. And not saying that he wouldn't get another chance later on because, they're not just going to completely send him to the moon if it doesn't go great.
Yeah.
But at the same token, you have a chance to really come in and plant your flag and take this backfield.
Well, he's going to have to impress. I mean, it's a Super Bowl winning team, so they're going to have the best players out on the field.
Yeah, and, they let Kenneth Walker walk. Strange, I mean, Kenneth Walker walk. Who would ever thought of that? But let's go over now to the next one here on the list, and we're going to be starting with you on this one, Ty. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneer backfield of Bucky Irving at the ADP of 51.2, or Kenneth Gainwell at the ADP of 148.5. Looking at this, Ty, look, I mean, everyone knows that Bucky's that high-end guy, right? But, could the better value here be with Kenneth Gainwell where he's at?
Yeah, it's tough because I'll tell you, I really like the landing spot for Gainwell just because of the way they utilize those backs in the passing game. But I think I'll probably lean Bucky. It's a little rich for me, but I think the only reason why is because he also is a big part of their passing game and out of the backfield. I mean, he catches a lot of passes too, and he's probably the better between the tackle guy. As long as he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a pretty good season. Kind of surprised me. I know we weren't huge fans of him coming out of college, but it was a little bit of a shocker, and he's playing really, really good football for him. Like I said, as long as he can stay healthy, I think he is going to be in for a pretty nice season. But I wouldn't be sleeping on Gainwell, especially at 148.5. I think that's a great landing spot for him, and that could be a sneaky flex play in some weeks. Or if you have Bucky Irving, just get the handcuff and get Kenneth Gainwell. So, I'll probably lean Irving, but I wouldn't oppose anyone taking Gainwell there at that range.
Right, definitely sneaky. I have to agree with that. I mean, where it's at, it's really good value. But, all right, Mike, same question coming over here to you. The Tampa Bay Buccaneer backfield, Bucky Irving at the ADP of 51.2, Kenneth Gainwell at the ADP of 148.5. Ty said Bucky Irving could be a little bit rich for him, there, but he's still going to lean that direction. Do you agree with Ty, or do you think that maybe the value here could outweigh itself just based off of where you're getting Gainwell?
Yeah, there's just so many question marks with Bucky, and I know, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope the rookie season comes out. It's just all last year was very weird to me, and being at that high spot, like Ty said, it's very rich, and I don't blame anybody taking the shot. For me, I just can't take a shot on something that's so unknown, even for my taste. It's we didn't know what the injury was. We didn't know what he was dealing with. And then all of a sudden, the guy comes back, and then they still use him in a committee. And then we're like, okay, finally, Sean Tucker, who knows what he's doing. And then the biggest thorn in the side was White, and he's going to here in D.C. So we're just like, okay, now he's going to have the backfield to himself. All of a sudden, they bring in the guy who led our Steelers in receiving and all these categories in Kenneth Gainwell. And I feel like Kenneth Gainwell in that offense is going to do wonders with Baker Mayfield. He's going to have Abuke. He's going to have Cade Otton. I feel like he's going to be an option in this offense because after losing Mike Evans, we don't know what Chris Godwin's going to look like. We're hearing all about these rookies. He's the only one who's like a for sure guy who I can believe can catch the ball, who can make these plays. And granted, I don't know what was Bucky's dealing with. I hope everything was good. But for me, I just can't. It can't be that rich for me to go after an unknown. So I'm going to go Kenneth.
All right, Kenneth for Mike. And Tessier, this is an interesting question, right? Because I think regardless, and I'm not a Bucky Irving guy. Everybody knows that. And I know Ty really isn't either. But if you were to draft him, I think you almost got to try to get Kenneth Gainwell later. I think I would make that a priority no matter what. But as we're looking at it value-wise, Bucky Irving at the ADP of 51.2 or Kenneth Gainwell at the ADP of 148.5, the scales of value, does that kind of make you want to maybe go down into Gainwell, or are you with Ty on this?
Well, in the scope of the question, I'm going to go with Gainwell at the value there just for the pass catching and the change of pace role. If Bucky was more closer to the Jadarian Price level of the 70s, 80s, I'd be more inclined to do that. I'd feel more comfortable that I'm not, drafting him so high and taking that risk that he has a high ceiling. I just have this strange, funny feeling that he's not fully healthy. He's not fully ready to go to begin the season. He could start off slow and he could be a back that's getting 10 to 15 carries a game. And Baker's really relying upon the pass catching ability and the change of pace of Kenneth Gainwell a lot to keep drives going and sustain. I don't know how much durability Bucky Irving has to be the short yardage guy or the goal to go guy, and what they're going to do as far as that backfield goes. So I think I'd just, not hinge my running back room on my rosters to the Bucky Irving wagon and just letting the draft fall to me and taking Gainwell later. And like Ty said, putting him in my running back 2 spot on bye weeks and injuries, or it could be a week-to-week flex play. Behind the curtain, though, what I would personally do with my rosters and what I'm doing is I'm waiting to the absolute end of drafts if I want to get into the Buccaneers running back room, and I'm just going to throw Sean Tucker on the back end of my rosters just for that Hail Mary of play of if Bucky Irving does get hurt and is out again and Kenneth Gainwell isn't taking more of the running role, that he's shown flashes that he can be a guy that can do a 3-down work and get on the short yardage and goal-to-go situation. And we've seen the big games from him before, too, that he's been able to bust one open and kind of be the home run swing there in that Buccaneers backfield.
Good point on Sean Tucker, right? Just to get him on the roster. I think a lot of people can agree with that. I mean, looking at it like this, there's a lot of hype going on with Bucky right now. I mean, as long as he's healthy, we've seen that he can do it. But as Ty said, the health's really what it comes down to, right? And I like what you said, Tessier. If it was down more, just a little bit more, I'd feel better. But I just think it's a little too high for me. And looking at it like this, we don't know how Gainwell is going to fit into that system. But like Ty said, right, we've seen this team use pass-catching backs in the past to pretty good success with Rachaad White and others. So I will say I think the value, I'll go the Gainwell side a little bit. But, I mean, Bucky has that opportunity to really have a ceiling. We'll see. It just really depends on health and how much they are going to use Gainwell. We'll see how that kind of materializes. But, all right, we're going to go over to the last one here on the list. Going to you, Mike. Travion Henderson at the ADP of 42.5 or Ramondre Stevenson at the ADP of 134.9. It is this New England Patriots running back room, Mike, that caused a lot of people nightmares last year. Which direction are you going to go for 2026? What's the better value play here?
There is no value. This is all shit. I'm just saying. I'm just messing. It's still going to be Travion. I mean, let's be honest. At some point, they all got to look and be like, who is the better back? That Thursday night game, I can't get out of my head. The guy was everywhere. The guy was absolutely unstoppable. I know it was the Jets. I know, but the Jets defense is still not that bad. It's not like it's the worst defense in the NFL. He was crushing it. And I forgot what game it was. He ran all the way to the one. Like it was like an 80 to 90 yard run. He got stopped at the one. All of a sudden, put that Stevenson guy in. Or it's like, what are we doing? Like at some point, Vrabel's got to stop canoodling with reporters and tell himself that the best running back in his room is Henderson. He can catch the ball, he can block, he can run. And I get it. He has a veteran mentality. Older guys should get play. And I'm not saying Stevenson shouldn't play. He's a good back too. But at some point, you just got to look at your roster and say, what is the best player to play to win? Henderson is. And I'm just banking on that. I know it's only his first year, so I'm gonna go with Henderson.
All right, Mike. Gonna go with Henderson, and I like that. Vrabel stop canoodling around, right? I like that. And, go with the guy. He catches the ball, he runs it, right? No doubt about it, Travion. I like that. But, this was frustrating last year to share looking at this backfield. If you're looking at it from a value standpoint for 2026, the ceiling, obviously, of Travion Henderson at the ADP of 42.5. You still have Ramondre Stevenson, who was pretty, at least running back 3, high-end running back 3, low-end running back 2-ish, down there around the ADP of 134.9. What's your thoughts here?
I'm going to go with the home run swing of Travion Henderson. I'm going to give it some context. Like if I started my draft with a hero RB, like a CMC, a Derrick Henry, or a Bijan or a Gibbs at the early end of in the first 2 rounds, and I want to take just an absolute home run swing on Travion Henderson, I think the dam will break this year, and push will come to shove, and talent will rise to the top, and he will get his due. I mean, we're not far from removed of Ramondre and his fumbling problems. I think it takes 1 or 2 of those again this year, where the grumbling of the fan base, and then us as fantasy people and just the media in general, if the groans get too loud, he's going to get his thing. And I think that in that offense with a tougher schedule, I don't think they can play as conservatively as they did last year with softer competition. I think it's going to take some creativity and some high rolling type playbook where you just got to roll him out there and hope he hits that big play. And if you got him on your roster, you're going to love it. I think you just weather through some of the frustrations early on in the season, but I'm not thinking that Ramondre Stevenson, even at 134, I think at that point I would go up a little bit and get Gainwell over Stevenson, just because I like the versatility of Gainwell over Stevenson. I think he plays his role, well, but he's more of the conservative play on rosters. I'd rather just go with the home run swing and invest early on Travion.
Okay, so here you go, Ty. This is your New England Patriots. Travion Henderson at the ADP of 42.5. Ramondre Stevenson at the ADP of 134.9. In 2026, are you agreeing with Mike and Tessier as far as taking the home run swing at Travion Henderson, or are you going to go the other way?
I'm going to go with Stevenson. I just don't trust it. I think just for this year, if you're picking that guy in the 4th round and he comes out, like he did last year, and it's just the same old bullshit, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in big trouble. So, I'm going to lean Stevenson. He had a really, really nice year last year, played really well in the Super Bowl. It's not flashy, but he gets it done. And, he's going to get you points, especially at that 134.9 spot. When you start getting back there, you start trying to just swing at stuff. And I think that's just solid contact getting him right there in that spot. He's going to get you points. Not a ton, but he's going to get you points. And I just think that if you're taking a running back in the 4th round like that, he's got to be you got to see something a little more than what we've seen out of Henderson. It's too risky, in my opinion. So I'm going to lean Stevenson for me personally.
So let me just say, Ty, look, you're going to the concept of, we know this obviously ain't a dynasty answer. This is the point of this year only with ADP. But you're saying, it's just too high. Like kind of as Shara said about Bucky Irving. You think that if it was down a little bit more, you could make the argument.
Yeah. Down it's a little more, absolutely. It's maybe even like 2 rounds. I mean, it's just too risky for me personally. I know I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole unless somehow he fell to me in a really good spot to where I said, okay, I'll give him a shot.
All right, so I am going to go with Travion Henderson. I'm going to take the big risk because I believe in the talent, right? It's going to have to shine through at some point. As the sheriff said, Ty, he's got a point. You can't rely on conservability forever. You're going to have to open it up, and you got to go with the big play players.
Well, we're not Mike Vrabel now, are we?
And Ty does know this New England team very well, so we got to be a little bit cautious with what he says. But look, I mean, it is decent value for a guy that finished running back 25 in Ramondre, right? That ain't horrible at all. And I still think he's going to have a role. I mean, even if Henderson does do what we hope he can do, I don't think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be hot garbage, right? He's going to have a little bit of a path to get some carries there. So not a bad ADP at all. But let's go over now to training camp battles, Teixeira. With so many significant training camp battles going on around the league, let's just dive into them. I'm going to give you guys some position battles going on right now currently. I want to know, who do you believe in to win out in some of these battles, and who are you putting your chips on to potentially be good values if they end up winning these positions for our Dynasty roster? So let's just start in the dog pound, the guys that made Ty sick. They passed the illness along, and it is the Browns quarterback room, Teixeira. This is the big question out there in Ohio right now. Who will be the Browns quarterback? Will it be Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, or Dylan Gabriel? Who are you going to go with if you had to say the Browns are going to be running this guy out of the tunnel on week 1?
I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson. I think that's where they're going to go. I am not confident what we've seen out of Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel when they're given the opportunities last season. And I think the Browns, for as cheap as they are, they'll go and just bleed every penny out of that contract to Deshaun Watson and see how far that goes. If he doesn't get hurt, just run the tread off those tires all the way before they move on from him. And I think that at some point in the season, we might even see a trade to a quarterback-needy team of Shedeur Sanders or a Dylan Gabriel, and they just roll with Deshaun Watson, because let's be frank, they're probably playing for a top 5, top 3 pick in the draft next year. So in that draft class, you're most likely going after probably a quarterback again, because that'd be the Browns thing to do, to add the total to 40, 46, 47, whatever godly number that is. And I mean, it's going to suck for our receiving options for the Cleveland Browns, because Deshaun Watson hasn't played much with these guys, so that's going to take a hit. It's just stay away in general, but I think unfortunately it's going to be Watson.
All right, so Teixeira says it's going to be Deshaun Watson here, Ty. You know this team, Brownie the Elf. Yeah. You and Brownie the Elf are going to get a selfie together next time you're out in Ohio. I know that for sure, but if we had to pick at this Browns quarterback spot right now, right? I mean, we've been hearing rumblings about the AFC North. Who do you think is going to be that guy for the Browns week 1? Will it be Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, or Dylan Gabriel?
Who gives a shit? They all suck.
No, come on now.
Well, they all suck. I mean, it's probably got to be Watson. I mean, the dumbass has paid him all that money. They're going to have to put him out there. I mean, he's going to be their guy going into the year. How long? Probably not very. He's probably going to fake an injury or something, but yeah, it's a bunch of hot garbage. I'm just going to say Watson just because of that ludicrous contract. I mean, what a disaster.
So, Ty, though, I mean, come on. The Browns, you're saying next year they'll have a different quarterback.
They better. Them 3 guys suck. I mean, when Shedeur's the best looking out of the 3, boy, you got some problems.
Okay, so, Ty, just start being nicer, man. I mean, I'm telling you right now, there's so many good Browns fans that listen, and you're always just patronizing them.
Name one.
I mean, there's different guys in the Discord I could go through. I'll find them. Maybe at the end of the show, I'll find them. You're just patronizing their fanhood right now. That's a shame.
God bless them.
All right, so Ty says it really doesn't matter. They all suck, but he said Deshaun Watson's probably going to be it. If the Browns, maybe the Browns fans are happy with that because they probably do want a different quarterback. But we're going to go over here now to Mike in the red corner. Mike, I don't know. That's a tough act to follow right there, Mike. If you had to pick who the Browns starting quarterback's going to be for 2026, who's it going to be? Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, or Dylan Gabriel?
Man, I've lived near Cleveland for about 6 years, and what Ty just did to that city was worse than anything that city could ever endure. Honestly, he's right. Add more names to that QB list on that guy's jersey. I don't think it ever stops. But I think it goes back to Deshaun Watson. He's right. You paid him how much million of dollars, and people want to see him succeed, I think, at some point in Cleveland. I don't know. The Shedeur project and the Dylan Gabriel thing kind of makes me laugh. It's like when you have two quarterbacks, you have zero quarterbacks. Isn't that the kind of the saying? It's like they drafted both these guys. They both had a chance. Everybody forgets Sanders' big game was 2 screen passes against the worst team in football, the Las Vegas Raiders, and everybody wanted to crown him, and I was just like, couldn't believe my eyes. Deshaun gives him the best chance of winning, quote unquote, but other than that, like Ty said it best, this is all crap. Like, this doesn't matter. Like, they're going to be top 5 pick again. Hopefully they get a quarterback of the future. They probably won't. They'll Browns it up, and that's it.
So just like quickly, Ty, 3rd round pick, you're taking it for any of these guys right now.
Oh, easy.
27th, 3rd, you're taking it.
Easy.
So we'll just have to come up with some kind of bet with the Browns fans and Ty, right? If something happens, we're going to put that together before the season starts. Maybe like a charity bet of some kind. We'll see what happens. But Ty's all over them, But, maybe they'll get their quarterback. We don't know, right? Then we'll see. They could have a top 5 pick this year. They could do some damage there.
Yeah, good luck.
We'll see. But all right, well, we'll go over to the next side here with this team. And I know, Ty, that this is a little bit more friendly to you. It is the New England Patriots, the New England wide receiver 3. This is kind of the question mark of who this is going to be behind A.J. Brown, Romeo Doubs. Giving you the options here, Ty. Kayshon Boutte, Kyle Williams, Mac Hollins, Pop Douglas. Who do you think that third guy could be on this team, and who would you would rather have rostered as a deeper dart throw type of guy?
I would think NFL-wise it would make most sense to be Pop Douglas just because he's a change of pace guy behind A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs, a couple bigger guys. But personally, I think it's going to probably have to be Kayshon Boutte. I think he's the best out of the 4. So I think he'll be the 3, and that's probably the guy I'd be targeting in Dynasty. I mean, the guy was a menace at LSU, and obviously with whatever was going on with him kind of brought him down. But it seems like he's kind of getting a little bit of resurgence. I mean, he's not like a monster by any means, but not a bad player at all. I mean, made some really nice grabs for them last year, and they really didn't have much on the outside, and he was kind of a nice filler for them. So, it seems like him and Drake May have a good chemistry, and I think it's going to be Boutte personally. I think he's just the most talented out of these 4 guys.
All right, so Ty says shake, shake, shake your booty, Mike. This New England wide receiver 3, kind of interesting, right? Kind of a lot of different guys that bring a lot of different things, right, as far as their play. Kayshon Boutte, Kyle Williams, Mac Hollins, or Pop Douglas, Mike, is a later round dart throw maybe to add to your roster. Who do you like out of that group, and who do you think could fill that wide receiver 3 slot?
I'm in between 2 guys. Boutte is one of them. I think Ty laid it out perfectly. I think Boutte has the ability to get himself onto the field, kind of do the things that this offense needs to move the football. But I think I'm going to go with the crazy guy himself, Mac Hollins. I think with him, he's going to be all over the field. I think that they use him inside in the slot. I think they use him outside if they need him. All the things that he does, I think, matches what Romeo Doubs and A.J. Brown bring to the table. So you have 3 on the field. I think he can block. He could go and get a slant route. He can do all these different things, but he can also take the top off the football field. I mean, this guy's nuts. He walks barefoot. He does all these crazy shit. And like, where's the dumbest clothes? But I feel like he's an actual football player. He has the toughness. He has the ability to get on the field, and something Mike Vrabel really likes. So I feel like I feel like talent-wise, Booty. I feel like what Vrabel likes to use, I'm going to go with Hollins.
All right. So, Mike, going a little bit different there to Shara. Look, I mean, this is a really versatile group. I mean, you got slot guys, you got shifty guys, you got big guys, outside type of receivers. You could go with a whole smorgasbord here for this wide receiver 3 spot in New England. Kayshon Boutte, Kyle Williams, Mac Hollins, Pop Douglas, Teixeira. What's your thoughts?
Well, if I'm putting my GM cap on, if I'm the Patriots, I'm trying as hell to make it Kyle Williams. You invested a draft pick in him. He's been buried on the depth chart for however long now. Honestly, at this point, if it's not him, he might be a roster cut before the season begins, and he might be on an entirely different team. And if that's the case, then I'm the GM of the Patriots. I'm looking to move Boutte and try to get whatever draft capital I can out of him, because it's kind of seeming like he's a little bit disgruntled with his role. Now that 2 wide receivers have been brought in, he was kind of the guy last season to put the top off of defense, and he had some splash plays, and he kind of put some, things together there for a little bit. So I think in that wide receiver 3 role, I liked what he was able to do in the short time. I think it's going to be Pop Douglas. I think he's going to be that spark, that utilitarian type player around the line of scrimmage, kind of fit the Stephon Diggs role of just squeezing in between zones in the defense and behind linebackers, and just being that shifty little piece that if, Reed 1, Reed 2's gone and Hunter Henry's covered, that with his speed and his agility, Drake May might find him for a big splashy play. And I don't mind that as a wide receiver 3 in this offense. So I'm going to go Pop Douglas.
Okay, interesting, right? Everybody had a different answer here. I'm going to go with Boutte as well, right? This is a guy that, as Ty said, I mean, there's a nice ceiling here. But, I mean, Kyle Williams is a guy, like you said, to share. You can't just give up on if you're the Patriots. You did invest draft capital. I do expect we see something out of him. And really, I mean, this could be a volatile point. Like, I mean, really any of these guys could take this, and really none of them could be real significant anyway. But, I mean, look, if there is an injury, some of these guys are going to have to step up and play. And we have seen Boutte play in some big games for the Patriots and score some points, right? So I'm going to stick with Boutte here as well. He could play inside. He could play outside. I think that matters too. But let's go over now to the last one here that we're going to be talking about and touching on. And it's going to be the Miami Dolphins wide receiver 1 here, Mike. We have Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, or Chris Bell. Who do you think is going to be the wideout 1 there in Miami?
Wow, this is...
I always save these for you, Mike.
What a list, man. I guess I gotta ride the tea leaves, and I think the tea leaves are telling me Malik Washington has been killing it in training camp. I think he has a rapport with Malik Willis right now that people are saying it's pretty good. Like, Washington has the ability, like I said, go down the field. He can take the top off the defense. I just don't know how he is as a possession receiver, which is something they really need. I guess Chris Bell might be the one to take that spot, or who knows? Well, this list is kind of crazy. This is like a waiver wire kind of situation where it's like you look at the names and you're like, I'm so screwed for my flex play this week because I didn't draft enough guys to help me out. So, I mean, man, they're going to be down a lot of games. I pray for Devon Achane. I hope he does well.
Oh, my God.
That's all I could say. But if I had to choose Malik Washington, the tea leaves are telling me he's doing well. The reports are telling me he's doing well, whatever that fucking means over there. But all right, Malik Washington, everyone, enjoy.
Mike is planting the flag. Malik Washington, wide receiver 1 this year in Miami. I know he loves these. He loves when I give him these ones. But okay, Teixeira, the Miami Dolphins wide receiver room. Who's going to be the wide receiver 1? Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, or Chris Bell? Who could be that late round dart throw that you like here?
Oh, you're giving me one dart to hit the board, and I'm not very confident I'm gonna get the right one here. But I'm just gonna run through these guys. Malik Washington, I don't think he's got the stature or the prototype build to be a wide receiver 1. I mean, ipso facto, he's the last man standing of the previous regime. He's the longest tenured Dolphin here in the wide receiver room. I think Malik connection's going to happen, and they're going to have their moments, but it's not going to be sustainable all year long. I think there's going to be an influx between all these guys popping off for big games and diving up in dip valleys, which aren't even going to be big games. They're probably going to be low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3 numbers, to be quite honest with you. And I've never seen in their career, even with high-powered passing attack offenses, the ability of Tutu Atwell or Jalen Tolbert to tell me that they're going to be a wide receiver 1 on an offense. I think they're just, set it wide receiver 2s is their ceilings, more likely wide receiver 3. So with my one dart, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it at Chris Bell here, thinking he comes back healthy and he gets to becoming the guy that the Dolphins drafted to be, is the wide receiver 1, and salvages a rookie season with that offense, and hopefully things just pray to get better. But it's a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. But Ty, here you go. You love this one. I expected an episode of Whistle to Whistle, not the culture shock. Here you guys are picking on the Browns and the Dolphins. At the start of the season, I thought you'd be a little bit more, spirited of a festival, but I guess not. But all right, Ty. Wide receiver 1 in Miami, if you had to say who's it going to be, Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, or Chris Bell?
Just when you thought the Cleveland Browns quarterback room was the worst room in the whole NFL, this room just said, hold my beer. Wow. I mean, I've been watching football for a lot of years. This might be the worst receiving room I've ever seen.
No,
it's bad.
No.
I mean, right now in this depth chart, the number 2, you don't even have it listed. Theo Weiss. Who the fuck is that?
Sleeper, but go ahead.
Probably Malik Washington. I mean, yeah. I mean, he probably just the longest tenured guy. I mean,
just leaving you speechless right now.
It's bad. Yeah. I mean, I like these.
He wants to say Jalen Reagor.
Oh, yeah. I don't think so. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna roll with Washington. Yeah, just the longest tenured guy there, and probably the most talented somehow. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Malik Washington too. I mean, look, the guy has played decent last season for him whenever was on the field. But, we laugh and really, it is bad. But, say Malik Washington is that guy and he's healthy all year, he's going to see a lot of targets. I mean, because there's nothing outside of Devon Achane here. They got to throw it to somebody. Whether it gets completed or not, that's the big question.
There's got to be some guys in free agency. They're going to have to go get somebody.
I think they want to be bad.
Oh, fuck, man. Go get somebody.
Well, what, dude? You don't want to get the number 1 pick. They don't want to win.
They're going to want to see what they have in Malik Willis. I mean, you can't – as much – and I don't like Malik Willis, but how can you judge a guy with that receiving core?
That's a good point, but that's why I said I think they don't really care. They just want to go get their guy.
God bless them.
And they'll put Malik in as the backup. I think that's their plan. But, all right, Malik Washington, he is a guy I've been getting a lot in the 20th plus rounds. I mean, just because of opportunity and value. But let's go over now to the last question here on the list. Starting out with you, Ty, outperform or underperform? Going to ask you guys some questions here about some players with the 2026 season upon us, kicking off Thursday night with the Hall of Fame game. Let's talk about some players last year. We're going to look at their numbers. Did they overperform this year? Will they underperform last year comparatively to where they were? Ty, Ashton Jeanty, is he going to overperform or is he going to underperform his numbers as a rookie in 2025 coming into 2026? He was running back 11 last year. Could you see him overperforming or underperforming?
Going to have to overperform, I think. They had the worst offense by a large margin, almost every category, and he still had a pretty decent year. I mean, running back 11. I mean, it was a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong, but I think they brought in some pieces to make this team better. They're not going to be overly great, but they're going to be better. I just don't see. Barring injury, I don't see any reality where he don't do better than what he did last year. I mean, it wasn't pretty, but it wasn't bad, and I'm definitely expecting the touchdowns to go up. They need to go up, because I think that's where he's really going to make his bacon. So
Clint Kubiak, I mean, I think will make a difference. They did add some pieces. Well, I mean, he was 11 last year, Ty. Where could you see that maybe? Just give me a number. Rough idea, guess.
We'll say 8.
Running back 8. So Ty says he's going to move up a handful of spots. It will improve and overperform what he did his rookie season. Okay, Mike, same question to you. Ashton Jeanty, running back 11 in 2025. Will he overperform that or underperform that here in his sophomore campaign?
I think he overperforms. I think he's going to do way better this year. I think you guys laid it out perfectly with Clint Kubiak. They invested a lot in their offensive line. I mean, they got one of the better signings in Tyler Lindenbaum. They went out and got a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins to teach for Mendoza. And some things that Kirk Cousins really likes to do is to dump that ball off. It's why we like Bowers this year and why we want him as our tight end 1 in every draft. He's the first tight end to get off the board because we feel like at least Kirk Cousins can get the football to those two guys. And like Ty says, I feel like they're going to be in the red zone a little bit more often. They're not going to get cute. They're going to give the ball to Jeanty. I agree with Ty. I feel like he could be running back 7 through 10 this year. I know that's one spot ahead of 11, but I mean, there's so many guys before him. Like we can go on and on, but I feel like last year was a trial run. I feel like this year he's going to outperform what he needs to do, and I believe he's going to be in the first round of fantasy drafts and startups the year to come. So,
all right. So Mike agrees with Ty. Overperformed for Ashton Jeanty. Okay, Teixeira. Ashton Jeanty coming into his sophomore campaign, running back 11 last year. Will he overperform or underperform?
Oh, I'm going to give my best Bob impression on this one. I think he's going to underperform. Clint Kubiak's coming to town. He's notoriously for running 2 running back systems, and he's not even the pass-catching back in that system. I think Washington was drafted and brought in for a role and a reason. He's going to be the thumper, and he's going to be the pass-catching back in that offense. And I don't think that the Raiders are going to be very competitive in games this year as much as we'd like them to see. That's a very hard division that they're going to be in. And they're going to be behind a lot in games, so I don't see him getting more than 20-plus carries is what he's going to need to overperform what he did last year. I have him finishing more closer to running back 13 to 16 in that range. I just don't see it this year for that offense and what his role is going to be in that offense to be any better than the running back 11. And it's going to be a tough act to follow for him. And I think we must temper our expectations and not reach for him in drafts and startups and get him at value where we can. And when that dip happens, that I think it's going to happen, I'll be more inclined to buy in on him after that dip happens than over-investing in him right now at this moment before the season starts.
Okay, a lot of fair points on both sides, right? I do think it's going to be a little bit of an overperform, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be way over. I think Ty with 8, that's probably your ceiling. I could see something very similar this year because, as Teixeira said, maybe he ain't on the field as much, but I do think that the scoring will be a little bit better for the Raiders. That might be where it kind of offsets a little bit, right? So, I mean, look, I do think that this team, though, in the next couple of years, is a team we really need to watch, like as far as like maybe we want to get into these players a little bit more. And if some of them have a little bit more of a down season, we could go from there. But I think Clint will right the ship at some point, and I think they will be better for sure this year than what they were last year. Maybe a couple games better. We'll see. But let's go over to the next player here on the list, Mike. Devon Achane of the Miami Dolphins finished as running back 5 in last year's campaign. Does he overperform that? Does he underperform that? Because let's be honest, we just talked about it. I think he's going to be touching the ball an awful lot.
I believe, yeah. I mean, if he doesn't die, I feel like, I mean, look, running back 5 is a lot to ask for a guy in this bad offense. I still believe he's our RB1. I still believe he's a good value in dynasty leagues. I don't see – I mean, they did draft an offensive lineman. I'm only going to say a slight underperform just because I believe that they're going to pass the football a lot because they're going to be down in a lot of games. Not saying he's going to be off the field, but I just believe that a lot – I mean, look, we just had a conversation of who the wide receiver 1 was in Miami. It looked like the bottom of the waiver wire. So I feel like if I am a defensive coordinator. I know who to guard the entire time, and that's Devon Achane. And I feel like that's just what defense are going to do. I feel like they're not going to be dumb and let this guy run wild, but I still do believe he's going to be in the top 10 in running backs. I just feel like he won't be top 5 like he was last year.
All right, so Mike saying it's going to be an underperform for Achane if he don't die, right? I mean, he's just hoping he survives the season. But all right, Tessier, here you go. Devon Achane, running back 5 last year, overperform, underperform in a year where there should be a ton of volume.
I'm going to say underperform, even though I like to say volume is king, but this volume is not the kind of volume you want. I don't think he's going to be able to, as he's proven us wrong up to this point, I think it's going to be a tall ask for him to stay healthy full 17 games and ride the workload he's going to have to ride throughout the year. And with the defense's game planning just against him, they know it's kind of like the Colts situation with Jonathan Taylor. They know what's coming at him. They know what they're going to need to defend it. I think he's going to have to be hyper efficient to get to running back 5. And if he has a string of 2 or 3 games where he's not putting up those running back 1 numbers week in and week out, you're going to see him more closer to the 8 to 10 range. That's where I have him finishing. I still like talent ability. Yes, he's capable of it, but just the scheme and whether or not the Dolphins are competitive enough to even keep him fantasy relevant to that level of what he was from a season ago is just going to be a tough act to follow that I'm going to temper expectations. I'd like to see it. I don't expect it.
For sure. Okay, Ty. Devon Achane, running back 5 last season, overperform, underperform in this nightmare scenario.
I'd love to say overperform because I think he's just going to get peppered, like just with receiving. But I'm going to say underperform just because I think this team's going to be so bad that, let's just say he gets kind of banged up week 12, week 13. They just say, hey, we're just going to sit you for the rest of the year.
Shut it down.
Yeah, so that's what I'm most scared of. So I'm going to say underperform. I'm more like a top 10 guy, I think, on the back end of the top 10, just based on I think if he does pick up an injury, which may probably happen with this volume because he's not a very big guy, it could go south.
Right, and let's be honest, scoring opportunities too.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, like that's going to be tough for Devon Achane. I mean, we know the volume, the targets, as Ty mentioned, the opportunities, but when you're not in the red zone a lot, that makes it tough. And as Mike said too, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. They have to because they're going to be down monumental points. So I'm going to say underperform as well, unfortunately. But look, it's one of them scenarios if you have them. I'm not going to undersell the guy because of one bad season, right? There's going to be people trying to come in and be like, oh, I'll just give you, a pair of socks and a pair of old shoelaces for Devon Achane. Like, no, I'm not taking that, right? I'll just wait it out because they're going to be a top 2 pick. They're going to get a quarterback. It's a guarantee. It's just a matter of how they build around that. And there's a lot of question marks. But, okay, let's go over to the next one here. Starting out with you, Tessier, Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Arizona Cardinals last year finished as wide receiver 49. A lot of heat coming off of some of them drop passes. Everyone's posting on Twitter and everything like that with Marvin Harrison Jr. Will it be an overperform or an underperform for Marv in 2026 here, Tessier, for his 3rd season?
Well, to start, if he's able to play the full 17 games, I know he had a little bit of a injury hiccup last year, so he missed 5 of those games. So if he's able to play a full 17, we get the Jacoby Brissett from the second half of last year on, and the connection with them gets a little bit better, and he cleans up those drops. I mean, it is training camp and practice, whatever. I mean, are they going 100% effort the whole time? I lean on the side no. But I think he's still a talented guy, high ability, comes from the wide receiver university. I think he'll get his head on straight, and he can finish higher than wide receiver 49 for sure. I just think he's better than what his numbers show.
Okay, so Tessier says, yes, it's going to be better this year. It's going to be an overperform. I don't think he's putting the expectations up there with NASA going up to the moon and things like that, but it's going to be better. What are your thoughts, Ty? Marvin Harrison Jr. overperformed, underperformed last season. I mean, Tessier mentioned, wide receiver 49 with the injuries. But do you think we're going to see a better Marvin Harrison Jr.?
He better overperform that. 49. I mean, yeah, he's going to have to do a heck of a lot better. I will say, though, now just watching like their training camp and shit, I think Michael Wilson's a better player.
Ooh.
I do. He just looks so much better.
And confidence goes a long way.
Yeah, night and day better, in my opinion. I just don't think Marvin Harrison's the dude we thought he was going to be. I'm really starting to fall out on him, but I do think he's going to go over 49. I mean, he's better than that. So, and they're going to be throwing the football a lot. The Cardinals going to be down in a lot of games. So, yeah, definitely higher for me, but I will say on record, I do think Michael Wilson's a better player.
Okay, so interesting. But let me ask you this, Ty, really quick. Wide receiver 2 finish out of Marv this year? You think he could get that high?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So Ty says no wide receiver 2. Wide receiver 3, I'm guessing where you're going to put him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Ty says it should be better than 49, and he's stamping his approval on Michael Wilson. That's big confidence coming from Ty. All right, here you go, Mike. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver 49, injury-plagued season last year. Will he overperform or underperform?
He's going to overperform a little bit. I mean, I still believe Michael Wilson's still going to do way better than him. I agree with Ty. I just believe Marvin Harrison can't get worse, and that's a lot. That's something that I have to say. I mean, like, sure, he was in the 40s. So I mean, if he gets into the 30s, he overperforms. So I can't say anything wrong. I feel like in the camp videos, from recent days, he's gotten a lot more confidence in himself again. Him and Jacoby were a little off there the couple of days there, and he had the name Maserati Marv for a reason. So for his sake, I hope he continues on the path of like getting to where he needs to be. But I'm still picking Wilson over him in the sense of like ADP, like where I'm drafting him. I just don't also know where the quarterback position is going to be in a few years. But for next year, I believe Marv is still going to be a viable receiver in the sense that you could start him here and there. I just wouldn't bank on him being the guy that you drafted him in rookie drafts where you believe you had something in the 101 pick.
Well, let me just say this, though, right now. I think if you have Marvin Harrison Jr. at this point, as we sit here today, you got to hope that he gets out of Arizona soon because it just isn't working, right? Like, I mean, him, that team, whether it's his talent, I just think that there's some kind of poisonous atmosphere, though, with them, too. Like, it just does not mesh, and I think that it is a good standpoint of, like, maybe him getting out of there could help, but I think that's what your big hope has to be. I really think that if you want to have him unlock anything, I just don't see it with this team. I really don't. Like you guys said about Michael Wilson, he's just a better fit with this team, but you look at Michael Wilson, he was the nobody, right? He was the 3rd, 4th round pick. He come in, he worked hard. He don't care what team he's on. He doesn't, some of these people don't want to go to teams. They're mad they get drafted there. That isn't Michael Wilson. He just come and worked hard, and it's working out for him. Marv's got to kind of get his head screwed on right, I think, and go somewhere else. Greener pastures sometimes, right? I think that's what it comes down to. But okay, Ty, we're going to finish this one off with you. Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles finished as quarterback 8 last year. We know that he's the big tush-push guy. We know he's the big running for points type of guy, but there is no A.J. Brown now. Does he overperform or does he underperform?
I think he's going to underperform, and he's going to fall outside that single-digit range for the first time since his rookie year. It's going to be too big of a hole for me losing A.J. Brown. I mean, you're already seeing camp videos of him and Drake May, and I've been licking my chops there. They look good. So, yeah, I mean, losing a guy like that, I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. I just think it's going to be tough. I mean, it's just all going to depend on how good is Lemon. I don't think he's the guy, but we'll see. I just think he's kind of the wild card, and Jalen Hurts has got to keep the tush-push up. I mean, that's where the guy's getting a big chunk of his points. But personally, I think he's going to go like quarterback 10, quarterback 11. I don't think he falls out quarterback 1 territory, but I think he's inching closer and closer to it.
Inching closer and closer. So it is a setback here for Jalen Hurts, a fallback. Ty saying, Mike, what's your thoughts? Because this is a little bit of a turnover with this Eagles team, getting a little bit older. Are they going to be able to push people around like they were? Quarterback 8 last season for Jalen Hurts. Mike, you know this division. Does he underperform or overperform that?
I think it's going to be a slight overperform. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because I think the distraction is gone. I think A.J. Brown really made distractions everywhere. And I never liked Kevin Petulia as an offensive coordinator. I just never understood that move. I just never understood how you could go from something like a Kellen Moore offense to that. And then it's just like these developmental routes just didn't work. They didn't give the ball a lot to Saquon. They didn't use their strength, which is running the football, setting up the pass. It seemed like they were passing to set up the run, and that just doesn't work. I believe Devontae Smith still can be a wide receiver one in a good offense, which is, I believe, the Eagles. I like Lemon, even though he has one of the weirdest press conferences of all time. And I believe they're going to start doing the tush push again. I think they're not going to run away from it now. I think they just fully embrace it. I feel like with the rushing ability, with the rushing touchdowns in fantasy, I feel like Jalen Hurts can be a top 5 quarterback again, and a guy where you believe after you get the Josh Allens, the Lamars, the Jaden Daniels, this is another guy you draft and you're like, this is a cornerstone for my team. And I think he goes back to that position.
Okay, so Mike saying, yeah, he's going to overperform a little bit, maybe out of necessity. Teixeira, here you go. Jalen Hurts, a lot of turnover with the Eagles team as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, right? Quarterback 8 last year. Overperform, underperform?
Underperform. I think this is going to be a year where the Eagles take the ball out of his hands. I don't think they're going to be having the throwing volume as you like to see where they had in the offense with A.J. Brown last year. And I think they're going to figure back to their Super Bowl year of getting the ball back into Barkley's hands and running him as much as they possibly can. And he's going to have to vulture some goal line touchdowns via tush push or just that way. Or if he doesn't get it with his legs, I mean, without his contributions to his legs through his entire career, his passing volume and his passing numbers alone don't even have him as a quarterback one. It just, if he doesn't have the legs this year and they don't take strides forward in this receiving game from what he's got now with A.J. Brown gone, I just think it's going to be a low-end quarterback one, maybe around, 11, 12. But I just think also the turnover with another new OC, it's just, at some point the shoe is going to fall on the other. It's going to happen. I mean, give him the credit, got him a Super Bowl, and he's done what he's able to do at this point. But in Philly, I think they're just going to go back to that run game with Barkley and try to not have Jalen Hurts win them football games.
Right, for sure. And I think it's going to be a slight underperform as well. And let me just say from a dynasty standpoint, we talk about the running quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Lamar, you take your pick, Jalen Hurts. At some point, right, and I know he's getting closer to that 30 age cliff, you got to look at these guys, and it's always concerning, right? As far as the fall off. I mean, it could take them from being like a top 5 quarterback the whole way down to being 11 to 15. And that's just a huge drop in value when that happens. So you always got to be wary. You always got to be watchful of that kind of stuff. But we do have a winner here. The winner of today's episode is Ty, blue bashing everybody from the blue corner. And let me just say, even picking on the Cleveland fans, which we will come up with a bet, right? We will do that. But Ty, you got a minute to talk about anything you want to talk about today here upon your return. What do you have?
Yeah, first shout out to my boy Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love what he did today. Absolute fucking beast. So I love my QB1. I'm just going to say that first. And yeah, I'm just excited. Preseason football is coming back. It's really exciting to see the rookies get their first action. Personally, for the Steelers, finally we're going to get to see Will Howard and Drew Aller and see what these guys have. So just a really exciting time for your favorite team, and not just your favorite team, your dynasty assets. So if there's a sleeper you really like, now's the time to go after him, because you guys know how the preseason hype is. A guy comes out and has a really nice preseason, and everything goes up, all the value goes up. So, I guess we'll see who the preseason darling is this year. There's always one or two that come out, and they're big on the waiver wire. They're getting a couple 100,000 ads. So, see what happens. But yeah, I'm just excited that preseason is coming, and football is pretty much back.
Playing the wire, no doubt about it, right? I mean, you always have to do that. You're right. And preseason hype, and I think too, just a cautionary tale. You always got to be a little careful. Don't fall too far in that trap sometimes. But let me just say, guys, what a great episode. We appreciate you tuning in with us as always. If you guys are enjoying the content on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon, any of the big podcasting platforms, and you haven't yet, please follow and 5-star the show. It greatly helps. We so appreciate it. You want to check out Dynasty DNA on YouTube, check out Dynasty DNA on YouTube. Follow us over there. Check out Dynasty DNA on X, TikTok, and Instagram, right? We'd love to have you follow us over there as well for all updates and everything that's going on with the shows. And during the season, right? We'll have up-to-minute information ready to go for you. But listen, I know I speak for Mike, Tessier, Ty, everyone when I say we hope you guys have a great, great rest of your week in front of you. But we'll see you all on the next episode of From Whistle to Whistle.